I love fishing in the month of December. A lot of ways to catch bass. I want to go over top 5 baits for December. The top 5 that I'm going to be using and recommend to you guys. Now, going through this, I look back through the 3 years I've been on YouTube. It changes like yearly what I've done for my top 5 baits. That's due to how I'm fishing, styles of fishing, lakes. So guys, we're going to get into the top 5 baits. Now, my first one right here is the lipless crankbait. Love the lipless crankbait this time of year. December, I've had some wonderful days with it, numbers and the size. Guys, and welcome to the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. I'm Coach E. We're about to talk about this lipless crankbait. Then we're going to go on bait number 2, which is the jig. So guys, this lipless crankbait, let's talk about lipless crankbaits. Variety of sizes, different types of brands. The ones I kind of throw, like this is a 6 cents one. We got the Booyah one right here. It's one of their custom painted colors, color schemes that they were promoting last year. And then right here, this is a Strike King Red Eye Shad, and this color here I can talk about now. I never talked about this color on a video due to it was so good, and I just got told not to talk about it. But after Jeremiah Kendi won and opened with it at Ouachita, I can talk about it now, I guess. I mean, because he put it out there for everybody, all right? He's a heck of a fisherman. If anybody's going to do it, it's that guy. I didn't want to take the blame for it, but it's him. He's caught more fish on it probably than I will ever catch fish on it, okay? So, but guys, so one thing about lipless crankbait, what I'm looking for in the winter is transition spots, rock transitions, where it goes from pea gravel to normal rock, chunky rock to light rock. Also up there, I'm going to be looking for that where that grass on our lakes mix in. You can fish this in muddy water and clearing water. Muddy water, guys, don't be afraid to fish it shallow. I'm talking, you see how this thing's banged up? Throw this thing and you want it hitting them rocks, okay? Hitting them rocks are right above them because them fish are going to be up there. That muddier stained water gets more warmth, okay? When more warm when those, because it's cold water right, we're in December and that sun's hitting it, more warmth, them fish can be up there just sitting on them rocks, and this thing goes by and they cannot resist it. Now, one thing I want you guys to know about lipless crankbaits is they all sound different. So there are days they want one over the other on a sound, okay? There's that one knocker style, which is really good. I like that more one knocker later on after more of these guys get thrown. Or if you hear about people saying they're catching on the one knocker, then you switch it up is all I'm going to say, okay? I'm throwing it, guys, on a 6'2" or 6'3", medium heavy fast rod or medium with maybe a little moderate action. You want a more of a medium heavy rod, but you do want a tip that will let them have it like that crankbait. You don't want to rip it out of their mouths. Now when you're fishing this thing in grass, which I might make a whole video on fishing grass, that's different. So we got grass down here. You still want that thing to where, you know, you're ripping it, it's ripping it out pretty good, but you don't want it too stiff to take it out of their mouths. I'm throwing typically on 12-pound test. I like throwing a light line. Some people throw it on heavier line, but I like to throw on light line. Now guys, let's talk about the football jig, bait number 2. Love the football jig this time of year. Channel swing rock points. This is a time of year in your upper ends of the lake on these highland reservoirs I'm fishing. They're going to be on these points of the upper end in the river section parts of it. On the lower end, you can too. I'm not going to be fishing this as deep in December as I would in January, but after what I've been seeing lately, they are pretty deep. You can fish this in brush piles, as we all know. This right here is the V&M football jig, and it's part of the Pacemaker football jig series. I'll talk about a couple different jigs I know on my channel. I'm going to show this one off today. I got this one here, more of a green, little, you know, more of a green pattern, and then I got the black and blue as well. I'm not a big black and blue guy. I know some people love it. Leave me the comments. Let me know what you think about it, and on these baits, by the way. Leave me share me some comments about the video. And right here on this one, okay, I like more of them green patterns. This one has a little bit of a gold and purple in there. I like those myself. On the football jig, I'm going to go 16-pound test, maybe even 14-pound test on my clear water lakes. If I'm fishing a lake that's more dingier, you know, we can go heavier line. But I like it 14 to 16-pound, 7.2, 7.3 type rod. I actually use throwing a 7.6 rod as well. There's some companies that have a longer rod for it. But right now on my Level NGX, I'm throwing it on 7.3, okay? This video is brought to you by Futrall Marine. Right now I'm sitting in a 2022 Triton 20 TRX. It is for sale right now. It's a demo boat with them. If you want more information, the link's down there in the description. It's a beautiful boat. I love the fishing platform on it. It's a big deck, and it's where I can fish with it. Multiple people up there. It's rigged out, guys. It has the Monster Marine lithium batteries, the charger. Man, it has everything. Live scope, the 34. It's a great boat that's already rigged out, so you don't got to do anything to it. It's ready to be fished. All right, guys. Now, bait number 3. Bait number 3. Okay. Now, you just saw my 2 baits. Those 2 were more my traditional styles. Now, this third bait's a traditional style too. Alabama rig. But now more of the baits coming up are going to be the forward-facing sonar baits. I just made a video on the Alabama rig. It's going to be up on my end screen. It's a recent video I just did, more on it. Okay, I have 2 different Alabama rigs right here to talk about, just with different swim baits. This right here is the Diamond Banks Alabama rig. It's a company out of Alabama. Put all the information down there. I love this one. It's a good, durable Alabama rig. Has the blades that are durable. Has a swivel head. Now this one does not have the fish head on it, as you see, and this one is the Yum Flash Mob, and it does. Sometimes they want this dude, sometimes they want that. On my swim baits here, got the Kitech Easy Shiners on this one. On that one, I got the Yum Scottsboro. Okay, more information on my Alabama rig will be in that video. Okay, like I said, it's just I'm not gonna talk about this one as much. I'm throwing on the 7/8 heavy fast. I like a bigger rod and a longer rod to get accurate cast, and if I double up, I'm going to get them in the boat. You can still throw them on shorter rods, but after throwing them on 7/8, 7/10 rods, I love throwing them. I really like throwing it to getting it out there 111, 120 foot. Now with forward facing, I can see how far I'm throwing it. The Alabama rig, it will be on my deck, guys, from here on. It will be on there through April, okay? And it might even be on there in May. I don't know. I might not say much about that. 20-pound test, though. I'm throwing a 20-pound fluorocarbon. My line is the Zing Goro. I have not mentioned that yet. That's going to be down there. It's a Japanese line through Bass Moosh Fishing. I've been impressed with it, guys. So I've been using it the past couple months and not had any problems with it, okay? So Alabama rig. Now, with the Alabama rig, make sure your state, you're following by the guidelines. Throwing it out there. Follow by the guidelines, okay, of your state, because each state's different. Some is 3 hooks, some is no Alabama rigs, some is 5, okay, but make sure you're following your rules. Number 4, okay, number 4, which one I'm going to do for number 4? Number 4, we're going to go in depth on number 4. It's going to be one category, but different baits. Guys, you don't want to miss this one. We're going to be in the jig head minnow. I want to talk about different types of jig head minnows and some stuff that I'm going to share that I'm going to be doing with it for my people here in Arkansas that's going to follow. So the jig head minnow, this right here is just a Strike King Baby Z2 on a 1/4 ounce head. But guys, one thing I'm going to be doing within December, okay, is I'm also going to be throwing it on some bigger ones from here on. So like this is an 8-inch Sakamata shad. Depth's 8-inch Sakamata shad. But what I'm going to be doing with these bigger ones, okay, and I'm going to go more in on it, is not just throwing it on jig heads. I'm going to be throwing this on bigger hover rigs. So right now, this is a 6/0 hook, 1/4 ounce. Now, this is an 8-inch bait. I'm going to throw this in shallower water, targeting big fish that are shallow, and that can be 20 foot or less. But I'm talking like brush piles, rocks, and as you see, this 6/0 hook is going to fit it perfect. I also have some jig heads that I'm going to be throwing as well. Some 1/4 ounce, 1/8, 5/0 hooks. So I'm going to be throwing these bigger baits and in some areas to try to get some bigger bites. And not just like an 8-inch. Here is a 6-inch Sakamata shad. This is a 3/16 ounce hover rig hook, okay? So that's going to fit there perfect. What the hover rig's going to do compared to the jig head, and I got another jig head bait we're going to go into in a minute. The hover rig's going to have more of that strolling. I'm twitching it, and it's more. It's going to be, you like my low noises there? It's kind of like Star Wars, right? It's going to be more gliding in the water. But when you're doing it on a jig head, okay, it's natural. It's always going to be going boom, 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 boom. It's always rolling. It's always going. But with the hover rig, I can twitch. It's going to be there, kind of more like a jerk bait even. Them lighter hooks is going to keep it up in the water column. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing this winter, okay? Just right now I'm going to say it in December. Now on like the traditional hover rig hook, that's an 1/8 ounce 3/0 hook. I can throw 4-inch, 5-inch baits on this. I will throw 5-inch baits on this to give it a shot as I'm testing, throwing this bigger baits out. Now, one thing with this, okay, let's talk about new bait I'm going to be trying. They just came out. If you do not know about them, let's talk about them. But first, let's talk about my gear. I love this level spinning rod. I think my game has gotten better with the minnow game ever since I started throwing these. The action on them, man, it is great. This is a light rod. I like the 7-1 medium light fast. Okay, that's what people have gone fishing with me, have been impressed. They've gotten them. And so I'm going 10-pound leader with 15-pound braid. That's the Zing Katana braid, and this is the Goro leader. Like I said, all that's going to be down there, okay, as well. So now one thing, let's talk about baits. Okay, here we go. We got one. We got them, okay? These won a lot of money in the last year. This is the Mooch Minnow by Rapala, okay? If you watch tournament fishing and know Wheeler and Cannell, been kicking everybody's butt with them. We got them. It's a smaller, looks like a freeloader, but it's not. It has a little bit different tail action that you can cut off, okay? And or you can keep it on there. but it is, and it's also a Laz-Tech material. It does have a little scent that's different than the freeloader scent, okay? I'm going to be giving these guys a shot, okay, from here on. I just got them in. Fish USA, I think, might have them in soon. If not, like I said, check that out down there. And if you use my Fish USA affiliate link, guys, I do get a % of the order. So help me out there. I'm sorry you do not get anything off, but I get 5% of your order, and that goes towards me, the channel, continue to do what I do. Appreciate you guys. So be checking Fish USA. Use my affiliate link to get these guys. I got the white color. I'm going to be getting the shad colors as well. But the white's going to be predominantly, that just moved. The white's going to be predominantly my color from here on. Now, also on the jig heads, let's talk about the sizes. That one was a 1/4 ounce there on that one jig head was a 1/4 ounce. Okay, and I'm fixing these right now, making sure those dudes are straight. Okay, we want these guys straight in the package. But one thing I will say, okay, is I'm gonna be using 3/8 and a half at times too. So some of the lakes I fish are deep and clear. Those fish are deep and clear. I've learned with that 3/8 and that 1/2 ounce, you get on there quicker, creates more of a reaction strike, and they're swimming fast. So you need something that gets down there. Okay, I'm still doing a loop knot. When I'm going 1/2 ounce, I'm doing a small loop knot. It's like it's more smaller. Okay, my 1/2 ounce one's it's not in the back of the truck. It's locked up right now. So there's that. Now bait number 5. Appreciate you guys hanging with me. Bait number 5. Okay, now guys, I want to share really fast how you can win a free fishing trip with me. This fishing trip could be a guided trip or an on-the-water forward-facing sonar lesson of your choice. Down below, after the video, click on my buddy's Facebook page, Briar Hayslip, or just type his name in, and once again, after the video, okay? If you go on there and share his car post that he shares, he's a car salesman. If you share his post, your name gets thrown in a hat. If you buy a car from him, it will be 10. Or if you refer somebody, I think it's like 3 or 4. Anyway, guys, he's giving out a trip through Briar, and he's at Harmon used car dealership there in Benton, Arkansas, but it's through my man Briar. He's paying for the trip, but how you get entered is by sharing his post to people or being a referral to somebody, or going to go ahead and buy one. Okay, appreciate you guys. Let's get to the video. This is one I've talked about in the channel. I've talked about Declassified. I've not done it for a top baits video yet though, or for this month, excuse me. I have in other months, but it's going to be the little hammer right here, which is a Little George imitator. I caught fish with it on my last forward-facing offshore trip. Some of those fish that were down there on the bottom 40, 50 foot, I caught them with the minnow. Then I dropped this down on there on them and caught them too. So I can't forget, and you guys can't, how this is a very, very good bait this time of year. It's a smaller bait. There's days are keying on smaller bait fish. And if you're fishing a lowland reservoir, for example, like Toledo Bend or my Oklahoma guys, whatever, Texas, but a very good fishing trip I was a part of at Toledo Bend was caught on a Little George style bait in December. It was actually towards the end of December. I went down there and had no idea that I was about to be throwing this guy, and I did. And then I brought that back up here and have been throwing it ever since, and I've learned a lot more about it in the last year due to forward facing. So I'm sharing that with you guys. It's going to be one of my baits this month, okay? Not just fish on the bottom. You can catch fish off of it, brush piles, trees, suspended fish they're swimming, but I'm going to be targeting more fish on the bottom with this guy. I like throwing on 12-pound test, 12-pound fluorocarbon. This is a 7.3 medium heavy fast rod, okay? So I can get further cast with it. And once again, I like the longer rod, the further cast, okay? The guy that I went with him that day, and he's a guy, Glenn Freeman's his name down there at Toledo Bend. You can Google him. There's videos of him out there talking about this with, forgot the dude's name on the YouTube channel, but he's been on YouTube videos about it. Glenn's forgot more about fishing probably than I ever will know, at least without forward facing stuff, because he, like I said, he's done it without it for a long time. But he had me that day, I think, throwing on a 6.9, 6.10 rod, but that might have been rigged up for his clients. I don't know. So there's that, guys. That was my baits. 5 baits for the month of December. Appreciate you. Let me know what you think about the comments. And guys, let's go get into the Faith Juice segment. Today, okay, we're just going to make it real quick and sweet, all right? When I say, I just want to say, with it being today's Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, let's talk about being thankful. And and if you are really, really a thankful person, okay? I've always tried to be a thankful person. I got taught that in my early life. Roger Brown, one of my pastors, mentors, I always call him like a grandpa because my grandpa passed before. One of my grandpas passed before I was born, and it's funny because he's the same age as my wife's dad, so my wife's always like he's not a grandpa. So anyway, but with all that aside, he taught me how to be a thankful person, okay? And once again, the dude's done so much for me, and so for you guys, are you a thankful person? And how you cannot be a thankful person is at times you're a selfish person, or at times you get distracted. But right now, with it being Thanksgiving and it's time where all the families get together, it's a time to where you can not be thankful and kind of can be irritated, kind of can be mad. It's time. I know it's kind of hard at times. I know if you have lost family members and they're not around anymore, how you can can have all that kind of get in the way, but let's really kind of be thankful for the time we've had with people. And just, I always want to say thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being part of the channel. We're growing. My business this last year, it's been pretty exciting, and it's because of a lot of you people out there. So I'm thankful for so much, for my wife, my kids, so much that I have. And I'm also going to say thank you guys for being part of the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. Guys, we will see you next week.